Welcome to Bahamas Educational Express lesson video, Majority Rule. There were several events that led up to majority rule in the Bahamas. In this video, we will highlight some of them. The official holiday. The Bahamas recognized majority rule as an official Bahamian holiday on Friday, January 10th, 2014. The first event that led up to majority rule was in 1942. It was the Burma Road Riot. Bahamian construction workers learned that the American workers who were working on the same construction project were paid more money to carry out the same work which they were doing. This was an important event that demonstrated how Bahamians stood up for their rights and demanded equality. Event number 2, Women's Suffrage Movement, 1949. The start of the suffrage movement began after Rufus Ingram, who was a candidate, lost his seat in the 1949 general election. He told his wife Mary that perhaps if women had the right to vote, he could have won his family island seat of Crooked Island and Acklands. The women's suffrage movement. Event number 3, 1953, the Progressive Liberal Party. This was the start of the Progressive Liberal Party, the first and the oldest political organization in the Bahamas. Event number 4, the General Strike. The General Strike is where taxicab drivers strike because they were denied providing transportation between the airport and the hotels for the guests. This denial effectively shut down the taxicab drivers from earning a living. The General Strike. Event number 5, 1965, Black Tuesday. Black Tuesday was in 1965. It was on this day when Sir Lyndon Pindlin threw the mace out of the window of Parliament in protest of gerrymandering of seats. The mace is the symbol of authority and power in Parliament. So Sir Lyndon said that since the power belonged to the people, then the mace should be outside with the people. Event number 6. In 1962, women voted for the very first time in history in the Bahamas. Ruby Ann Dallin was first to register to vote, and Miss Ivy Mackey was the first woman to cast her vote. 1962, women were able to vote. Here are some women who headed up the women's suffrage movement. Sir Roland Symonette. The premier before 1967 was Sir Roland Symonette. Event number 7, Majority Rule, 1967. Majority Rule was Event number 7, Majority Rule, 1967. Majority rule was realized in 1967. This was the first time a majority party represented most of the Bahamians or most of the people in the Bahamas as a government. Majority rule is celebrated on January 10th each year. It represented one man, one vote, and for the first time, the express will of the people was realized. This symbolized the promise of equality, a level playing field, and fair play. Sir Randal Fawkes. Sir Randal Fawkes was the person who broke the tie. The PLP party needed another seat to be the majority party. Randal Fawkes, who was a Labour candidate at that time, had successfully won his seats in both the 1962 and the 1967 elections. He joined up with the PLP and became the member of the first majority rule cabinet. Another successful independent candidate was Sir Alvin Brennan. Sir Alvin Brennan also drew his support with the PLP and he accepted the post of Speaker of the House. The first cabinet after majority rule. These were the names of the persons in the first majority rule cabinet: Lyndon Pindon, Preston Aubrey, Clarence Bain, Milo Butler, Clifford Dallard, Edward Donaldson, Arthur Fawkes, Carlton Francis, Arthur Hanna, Warren Lavarity, Curtis Macmillan, Uriah McPhee, Maurice Moore, Edmund Moxey, Jimmy Shepherd, George Thompson, Jeffrey Thompson, and Cecil Wallace Whitfield. 1973, Independence. Independence for the Bahamas is on July 10th of each year. In July of 1973, this was the birth of our nation and when we formally acquired national and unique identity. We became a Bahamian sovereign state and not just a British territory and colony. Here we have the signing for the birth of a nation. We have here the then Prime Minister Lyndon Pindon and the new Bahamian Governor General Sir Milo Butler. Dr. Phillip Rahming wrote the Pledge of Allegiance for the Bahamas. Dr. Hervis Bain designed the Bahamian flag. Mr. Timothy Gibson wrote the Bahamian national anthem. Now let's see if we can remember some information from our lesson. What is the date of the general strike? Excellent, 1958. When was the Progressive Liberal Party started? Great, 1953. When is Majority Day celebrated? January 10th. When was the Burma Road riot? 1942. Great. When was the women's suffrage movement started? 1949. Great. What was the date of Black Tuesday? 1965. Very good. In which year did women first voted? 1962. In which year did the Bahamas gain majority rule? 1967. When did the Bahamas become independent? July 10th, 1973. Great job! Now you know about majority rule Bahamas.